Going on, guys? Back here with this topic will be pot odds. I have set up hands here, as you see, and it'll be a set up 5-card community board, just so you can understand the concept well. It's a pretty basic concept once you kind of understand it and kind of go through it in your head. It's just basic math you're doing. You're going to try to just make the right mathematical decision based on how much chips you should put in, which is the risk, versus how many chips are in the pot, which is the reward. So I have my high-tech set up here. I just have my opponent's hand, just resting on the table. So what we're going to assume is that blinds are going to be 10, 20. So for the sake of this, green is going to be 5. For the rest of these videos, I do green 5, blue 10, orange will be 20. This will be 50. So green 5, blue 10, orange 20, and red 50. So, oops, I got the chip stack behind here. I'm trying to, like I said, not exactly high tech, but trying to make it work. So I have ace 6 of hearts. He has queen 6 offsuit. So just say we got into a hand where he's first to act and I'm the dealer afterwards. So say there's 5 players, we'll say, who all go in. Everybody limps into the pot. So I'm just going to put all my chips in there, but I'm going to put 50. Everybody puts in 20 as their big blind. So there's 100 in the pot. All 5 players called. Flop comes down this. Again, high-tech setup. Oh, I gotta go the other way, sorry, so you can see the actual cards. High-tech setup, that's going to be the flop. Jack of diamonds, 10 of hearts, 9 of hearts. So already you see there's a lot of draws out there. You know there's 3 to a straight already, and they're all together. So if somebody has a queen, they have an open-ended straight, which this guy does. Or if they have an 8, they have a weaker open-ended straight, because really only if a 7 comes, you can really ever trust that. Because if a queen comes, somebody could easily have a king and have a higher straight. So having the 8 in this situation is just a really tough hand to play. But as you can see, I have a flush draw. 2 hearts here, 9 and 10 of hearts there. So I don't know what he has, but I'm the dealer. He's going to lead out in bet, okay? He is going to throw in a bet of 25, 20, and 5. So now the pot is now 125. Here's where pot odds come in. I'm going to set it. I wish you guys could see the pot. It's 125. Oh, sorry. Now I'm falling apart right here. So there was 100 in there, right? 5 people called. He's first to bet. He puts in 25. Now, just for the sake of this video and to make it a little easier to understand this concept, we're going to say the other 3 players fold. So it's my decision. There's 125 in the pot. Now, the right odds to chase a flush, which is where you need hand odds to calculate your pot odds as well. If you guys remember, I have 4 hearts. There's 9 left. If I multiply my outs by 4 using the rule of 4, there's 36% chance I'll make the hand by the river. But what you need to do for pot odds is you need to be making the call based on per card, which is what I said kind of with hand odds too. You need to do something like that as well. But here's where pot odds and hand odds kind of go together. Since I have per card, I have about an 18-19% chance to hit the next. There's about a 19% chance that the next card I flip over in the deck, assuming it's random. It's not in this case. I have it set up as usual. There's about a 19% chance it will be a heart, and I'll make my flush. I'll make the best hand. So based on that percentage, let's just say it's 20%, just to make it easy, okay? Or yeah, 20%. So 20% is 1/5 of 100%, right? So the way to do your pot odds, you want to add, this is the reward, and you want to wage your risk. So is it worth me putting in 25? Should I or should I not make this call? If you guys can do the math simply, the reward is 125 in the pot. My risk is 25. So I'm getting 5 to 1 odds on a call, which means the money in there is 5 times what I'm putting in, which means I should make the call because my odds on a flush, the next card coming up, are 4 to 1. 1 out of 5. 4 to 1 odds. Remember, you guys got to get that through your head. It doesn't mean 1 out of 4 times. It means 1 out of 5 times. It means 4 times you'll not get it. 1 time you will. So 1 out of 5 times. But I'm getting 5 to 1 on a call because there's 125 in there, and I'm putting in 25, which is 1/5 of the pot. So that's 125 divided by 25. Sorry, 125 divided by 25 is 5. So I'm getting 5 to 1 odds on a call. So based on pot odds, I should make this call. In the long run, it will profit because I'm putting in the less money less money than what I could be putting in to call to see the average percentage that a heart will come. So here's the next card. I called that bet. Again, it's only me and him in the hand. 8 of spades. Didn't make my flush. He made it straight. So at this point, for sure, again, with pot odds, you can't simply assume mathematically. There's certain things that are going on, such as the board and how he's playing the hand. Sorry, his hand fell over again. And how he's playing the hand. So you see he has queen 6. You got to assume if he's going to bet into you again, he's probably got the straight. He's probably got the 7, but it's more likely he has the queen. Or maybe he has a 2-pair. It could be risky. If he bets again into you here, he probably doesn't have a 2-pair. It's probably more likely that it has a hand like queen 6 or queen 9 or queen 10. Maybe you had a pair and an open-ended straight. In this case, he has queen 6, and he made it straight. So he's probably going to bet decently heavy into you. Let's say he bets, what's the pot right now? So the pot is 120, 140, 150. Let's say he bets, let's say he bets 70, okay? Red's 50, orange is 20. He puts 70 in the pot. That now makes the pot 220 overall, and I need 70 to call. So again, my odds on the flush are the same. 4 to 1 chance that the 1/5 of the time about. It's just under that. The next card is going to be a heart. So I would not mathematically pot odds wise. So I want at least 4 to 1 odds on my call. So that means 220 needs to go into 70 at least 4 times, which it does not. 70. The pot would need to be at least 280 for me to mathematically sit there and say this call was border. That'd be exactly what it needed to be. If it was 280 and I was putting in 70, that's 4 to 1 odds, right? So that's exactly what you want. Generally, you want to get better odds than borderline because if you play right on the odds line, which is what I'm saying, you're going to break even in theory over time because you're making the exact percentage call. So generally, like I said, when he bet 25, I could have called up to 33 if you could bet that. We don't have that. So I could have called up to 30. If he bet 30, I would have called that as well. 35, mathematically by pot odds, I would have folded that hand because I'll give you this might sound a little complicated right now, but I'm going to save it as the end of the video, screenshot and everything, and it will help you a ton. I'm just trying to get the whole concept out there now, but I'll save, or I'll put something up at the end of the video and explain that if someone bets a certain amount into the pot, you can know your odds immediately and know whether you need to call or fold. So in this case, I'm not getting the right odds to call because I only have a 19% chance that this is a heart. And so I'm putting in 70 chips in reward for 220, which is just over 3 to 1 odds. If it was 210, it'd be exactly 3 to 1 odds, which I'm not getting the right odds to call. Let's say it was exactly 3 to 1 odds, which is not, but that means I need at least 25% chance to hit my card, which is not. A flush draw is only 19, so it's technically under, and making this call would not be justified according to pot odds. Again, there's a ton of things you got to factor in. You definitely don't want to play strict mathematical poker. You'll never get anywhere with that. Maybe minimal profits here and there. You got to be able to bluff. You got to be able to, check raise, do all this stuff. You got to be able to read your opponent. That's a huge thing. But most 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times when he's going to bet into me again, bet a strong bet like 70, he bet about half the pot. The pot was 150, so 75 would be half. He's probably got a strong hand, or he's bluffing. I mean, if you have a read and he's bluffing and you want to call, if you think your ace high is somehow good at this point, you can call and maybe, hopefully, luck out with the heart. But just mathematically, the bet that he put in, I should not call. But here, as I set it up, say if I did call, I would have got the flush. But I'm not trying to tell you guys to play wrong. This would be unlucky. Technically, I made the right mathematical decision unless I truthfully thought that my ace high was the best hand before the last card. If you think you're beat right now, if I think he has queen 9, mathematically I should fold. If I can't get a read on him, if I don't know anything about him, it's going to be the right decision in the long run to fold this hand, even though I wouldn't see this river card, even though I would have made my hand. If he bet, say he bet, I don't know, let's say he didn't bet 70 and he bet 40, that would be a call. So let's do this again. Remember, there's 150 in the pot. He puts in 40, there's now 90, or 190, sorry. So now I need 40 to call. I want to get at least 4 to 1 on my odds, which means there needs to be at least 160 in the pot, because 160 divided by 40 is 4. There's 190 in the pot, so calling 40 would be justified here. And in the long run, again, simply mathematically, I can't repeat how many times you still need to be reading your player, and if he's sitting there kind of ignoring you, looking like this, acting like he's not interested, that's a tell right away. I actually will be making videos on certain tells, obvious ones that even some beginner players don't know, but one of the more common ones that most people know is the saying, strong is weak, weak is strong. A lot of people who have a big hand, he'll kind of be sitting here, kind of like this, maybe talking with somebody else, won't act like he's not interested in what you're doing, because he wants you to put in the chips, he wants to act like he's not paying attention to the hand, he's acting weak, he's acting disengaged. That's a major tell that he has a strong hand. So especially at the level that I'm teaching you guys, and when you're playing with intermediate players, they're usually not going to reverse psychology you. You know, some people are really bad actors. You know, if they sit there like this, like jittering their cards, biting their lip like this, making it super, super obvious, you might know that's reverse psychology and that they're trying to act like they're bluffing, you know, by being nervous and, you know, biting their lips. But if they make it real obvious, they're shaking their legs like this, you know, it's probably reverse psychology and they might really have a strong hand and acting like they're weak. So, but at this level, generally, when you see subtle tells like that, like this one, usually not paying attention, kind of talking or just looking away, maybe hand on the chips, you know, trying to be nonchalant about his hand, he's usually going to have a monster, which is what this guy's probably going to be doing before this card, you know, because he's got pretty much the nuts. Only King Queen is a better hand than what he has. He has, you know, a Queen High straight. So, anyways, I'll do another example of another hand and odds to call right now, and that will be a open-ended straight draw. Okay. So 4 or 5 offsuit's going to be my hand this time. This time we're gonna analyze the odds of an open-ended straight draw, which, as you guys remember, there's 8 outs for an open-ended straight draw. So it's about 32% chance after the flop if you have it, that you'll get it by the river, and it's about 16% chance per card. So just remember you gotta use your hand odds to work with pot odds as well. This time I'm not gonna have an opponent's hand. It shouldn't really matter. Just as demonstration, we're just gonna do it this way. So here comes the flop. Did I do that right this time? No, I didn't. These cards need to go first. Flop, 2, queen, 3, 2 hearts, 1 spade. My flush is out. The flush is not a possibility, but it's a chance. But I can't get a flush. But I have an open-ended straight draw. 2, 3, 4, 5. An ace makes my hand. Remember, aces can be low. I really hope you guys all know that if you're watching this video. Or a 6 would make my straight. I would have a 5 card, either 2 through 6 or ace through 5. Which are both very good hands, and aces is even more disguised because, you know, a lot of people don't seem to pay attention to the low straight sometimes. You know, it just doesn't pop in their head that an ace can be a number 1 as well. So, you know, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to have the same situation as last time, 10-20 blinds. So this was small blind, this was big blind. So we're going to say there was 3 other players, or me and 4 other players, so 5 players again. So I'm going to take all from his stack again, 5 orange chips, which is going to go into the pot. Pot's going to be 100. I'm going to set it. I wish I had a spot. It's just going to be in front of the cards. You guys can't see it. The pot isn't even 100 now. All 5 players called the big blind. Nobody raised, which generally doesn't happen. I want to kind of get that out of the way. Even when I'm playing with my friends who are, well, at least not at college, they were not too great. I would say if you're watching this video, you'd be a little better than them on average. But a lot of people seem to think, like when they first start playing Texas Hold'em, well, I mean, if you are playing as all beginners, you can do limp pots like this. But a lot of people think that everyone's just supposed to kind of call the blind and no one's raises and everybody should get to see a flop for the 20. That's really not how it works. If you ever watched any type of professional Texas Hold'em, there's a raise almost 9 out of 10 hands, and most pots are going to be heads up or, you know, one-on-one, maybe 3 players at a 9-player table. Most pots are raised, and, you know, 6 or 7 players usually have to fold before the flop. That's just how it is, because when I'm sitting here with ace-king, I don't want a guy who has 5-6 offsuit to be in the hand in case some bullcrap flop comes like 4-7-8. You know, you want to raise when you know you have the best hand, which usually ace-king will be, you know, one of the best hands pre-flop, or, you know, something like pocket queens. You don't want to get your queens cracked or kings or aces cracked by some lucky hand that you didn't raise pre-flop and they just called and got a lucky 2-pair. By the way, cracked just means defeated. Like when your aces are cracked, your best hand in the game gets beat by some other hand. So that's the flop. I have an open-ended straight draw. Again, my odds per card for an open-ended straight draw are about 16%. If you can't do that math yourself, that's 1/6. 16.7% is 1/6 of 100%. So 1/6 means I need at least 5-to-1 odds on a call. So 5-to-1 means 1/6 of the percentage. So there's 100 in there. So here's what he's going to bet. He's going to bet 20. So now there's 100 in there, 120 in there right now. For everybody else folds, just to make this easy again, pot odds is really important. I honestly only use it when I'm on the button or, you know, one of the last ones before and somebody folds. It really can only be used well and exactly like mathematically if you're the last one to act, if you know exactly how much is in the pot, you know. Because if you're second to act, when you make your call, it might not be the right odds right there. You might be just below your odd point, but you don't know if the 3 people behind you are going to put in the 20 and the 20 that might make it worth the call, you know, that will raise the pot to 5-to-1 to 6-to-1 odds for you, whatever. But let's just say he bets again, he's first to act, all 3 fold, just to make the scenario simple as we're starting out as. There's 120 in the pot, there's a 1/6 chance that the next card is going to either be an ace or a 6 mathematically. So I'm on at least 5 to 1 on the call.